Austin Trusty and Cameron Carter-Vickers. One of those guys will come in. I don't think both, but I think one of them will.
But okay, say he calls in Trusty and then that's it. Like, why would you ever call in Cameron Carter-Vickers again? You're electing to pick,
but that's
Trusty.
what I'm saying. That's the point. Is you have 3 center backs. You're going to bring one more.
All right. Now, last week, Tones, you weren't here, but we were really close to getting to the end of one of our segments, and Chuck just decides to be like, hey, who's on your roster right now? Which is like a 20-minute conversation, but Chuck wants me to cram it into 30 seconds. I was on the spot, so I
put him right on the fillet.
Right on the spot. Right on it, and I named 17 players, and I want to go through those now because we want to get your thoughts. Everybody listening and watching, of course, if you missed that show, and I know what are you doing with your life if you're missing any shows. But Tones, I want to make sure that we get your opinion on this as well. This is what I had, and I'll read it out, and then you can jump in. Matt Turner and Zach Steffen for me, locks as goalkeeper. Jedi Robinson, Tim Ream, Mark McKenzie, Chris Richards, Joe Scally would be my defenders. Then we have Tyler Adams, Weston McKinney, Yunus Musa, Tanner Tessman. So I agree with you, Chuck, that I think he's played his way into the team. Not that he hadn't already prior to this weekend, but Johnny Cardoso had a good solid minutes for Real Betis today. This weekend. Gio Reyna, I think. Well, that'll be the big one, but I want to get your thoughts on that. Tim Weah, Christian Pulisic, Brendan Aronson, and Josh Sargent.
I think that's another big one too. I think Aronson.
Which one?
And Brendan Aronson.
And Reyna. Okay, so Tones, before we get Chuck's Aronson thoughts, what are you saying on my roster overall? Anything?
Yeah. So where do you see? I'm just curious. Where do you see Weston as in this group? Like what position? And only reason I ask because if you're saying holding midfielder, then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them.
Got a lot.
No, he's a 10. He's already Pochettino's played him level with Christian.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. I'm because then the other 3 make sense, right? Johnny Cardoso, Tanner Tessman, who's done well for him, and obviously Tyler Adams. He hadn't seen Tyler Adams yet, right? He's been hurt.
He hasn't.
He hasn't. So I mean, he's a lock whether you've seen him or not, right? Like he's one of the locks. The rest of them, I know Gio's the conversation, but he hasn't seen Gio either. I think he's an absolute lock here because you're going to have to see him at some point.
You have to see him. You have to bring him in. I agree. That's why. I don't think you start him, but I think you bring him in.
It's hard to argue with any of these that you've put in this roster. And I'm assuming he's only going to take 23 to the initial camp and not like 25 and release 2. So, wait and see if anybody gets hurt. And hopefully that's not the case. But, yeah, Jimmy, I think – I'm trying to think if there's now I'm thinking about the guys that you left out to see if there's any more locks in there. But
all
yeah,
right, let me give you a couple.
Let's go to Brendan Aronson. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got one. I think. Go ahead.
But I think between Austin Trusty, and Cameron Carter-Vickers, one of those guys will come in. I don't think both. But I think one of them.
Okay, say he calls in Trusty and then that's it. Like, why would you ever call in Cameron Carter-Vickers again? You're electing to pick,
but that's what I'm saying. That's the point. Is you have 3 center backs. You're going to bring one more, right?
Right.
And then you have Gio, Brendan Aronson, Paxton Aronson, Diego Luna, Gianluca Busio, and Jack McGlynn. Right. That Jack McGlynn's the last one on that list. And then at strikers, Brandon Vasquez, Haji Wright, and Patrick Adjiman. Those are the other 3, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think any of those are actual locks, though. But I think that's those are the guys in the pool
right
at the moment.
Right.
The one I throw in there, I got to think there's some fascination with Diego Luna for them, that they saw enough in the last camp. Right, that there's a fascination to bring him in with the first group because he has a completely different profile than some of the guys that we have right in the group. Mm-hmm. As far as the forwards, I'm with Charlie here. The 3 names, Adjiman, wrote them down, Wright and Vasquez. I personally think there's also a fascination with Adjiman and the different profile. Although I don't know. We know Haji Wright is finally back. Don't know what his form is. Has World Cup experience. But those 2, McGlynn is a tough one, right? Because he had a great camp, but he's in a part of the field where, like, the numbers just don't for him, right? As much as he's a player. So yeah,
I don't see any of the MLS guys. I guess the MLS guys will be a couple weeks into their season.
I don't think he does
Sorry, Tones. Sorry, I think
Yeah,
we're both,
I don't. My computer said it. My mic was. I don't have a mic. Obviously, I'm on the road. It said my mic was unplugged, but I don't have a mic plugged in. So me, technology. I don't even know how that happens. But McGlynn, the addition just doesn't add up for him in the midfield with the numbers. As much as I like the player and would like to see him get a chance, Diego Luna would be the one to add.
The question for me then is ultimately where you put Eunice, Weston, and Tim Weah. Tim Weah, do you put him as kind of the right back? Obviously, he demonstrated he can hold his own against very good players, most specifically this weekend.
Jimmy, he's already had them. He's already played them in positions. He's already basically.
But he hasn't had Tim Weah, right?
Play them. Yes, he has.
When did he have?
Remember, he played.
Early on?
He played Anthony Robinson and Tim Weah on the same side. The game that Anthony Robinson came inside as like an inverted left back.
Yeah. Okay.
So he played him on the left side where we hadn't seen Tim Weah, and he played them together, and they played really well together. Correct. So, I think it's already basically there's already a blueprint of how he wants to use them. The thing is that you throw in is they're so flexible that Weston and Tim can play anywhere on the pitch. So that kind of hurts the utility guys because you go, well, if I'm in a pinch, I have somebody who can play in Serie A at the highest level in different positions. Not, they've played different positions before. No, at the highest level in big matches, Tim Weah can play at right back, right wing back, left wing back, or right wing, left wing. That's incredible. Weston can do the same thing. He's played every position. So I think when you're looking at that, you say, well, that kind of hurts the guys who are maybe second, third choice in those positions, right back, left back, or those wing spots. And Yunus Musa, I think we all think he should be played centrally, but we've seen him already being deployed on the right wing. So I think he's a guy that's got to be on the pitch.
Ultimately, this is good. These are good problems. We have options and we have some depth in some areas of the field, almost too much depth, which is a nice luxury to have. Now, in some other areas, striker feels a little thin, obviously due to injury. Center back still feels nobody's really grabbed it with both hands outside of Tim Ream, but he's just on the wrong side of 35 years old. And so nobody's pushed him out. And so there are some areas, and obviously our goalkeepers aren't getting a lot of reps at the moment. So some areas are crazy. Like we're so locked down in some areas, and then others, it's like, what are we going to do here? We're scratching our heads a little bit. So a little fun fact about this CONCACAF Nations League semifinal and final. It's going to be in LA at SoFi Stadium. We're going to be there. Yeah, it's awesome. We don't know all the details of when and where, but if you're in LA, if you're going to go out to this event, the semifinal and final, you're going to have to find us. We're going to the word is we might be doing some live shows in front of a live audience. So just be on the lookout for that. I wanted to tease it because it's a big deal. We're hitting the road. Call it what you want. It's hitting the road, and it should be a lot of fun. You're still here? Yes! I absolutely love that. Listen. While I have your attention, if you want more average to good soccer content, this is the channel for you. Go check out our other videos. Go check out our playlists. And if you're really liking what you're seeing, I don't know how you couldn't, hit like, hit subscribe, of course, and then turn on your notifications so that you do not miss anything that we drop or when we go live. We'd really appreciate that. We'll see you next time.